Hi everyone, welcome to Joy as It Flies. I'm Teresa if you're new here, and I deal with the cooking side of things on this channel. Today my plan is to make some cakes. I've got 4 people I want to make cakes for, and I'm thinking of loaf cakes. I want to do a carrot cake and a red velvet. But I also wanted both of them everyone to have a bit of everything. So I'm going to do 2 cakes of each, cut them in half and put them together, because the beauty of those 2 cakes is they both have the same frosting, cream cheese frosting. So I'm going to get the carrot cakes going first, and I have this horrible feeling that I am out of sour cream, so I think I'm going to have to pop to the shops, but I'm going to do that whilst the carrot cakes are cooking. So let's get on with that first. I normally make carrot cake as a layered cake, but this recipe, which you can find on our blog, works really well as a loaf cake, as I'm doing today, or cupcakes. I love carrot cake, and I do think that a large part of its success is the quality of the carrots. I went to the farm shop yesterday and got some really lovely carrots, and the supermarket carrots are I just normally find they're either too dry, or they have, I don't know if they've been frozen, but then they're too watery, whereas a really fresh carrot provides just the right amount of moisture. I also don't add any nuts or fruit to my carrot cake, because not everyone likes to have dried fruit and nuts, so I just leave it the way it is. But if that's something you like, absolutely, you can add it in. And when you're grating the carrots, just go for the finer shredded part of the grater. And here is the part really where, if you've found that your carrots are either too watery or too dry, you can adjust the milk slightly. You just want it to be a porridgey consistency, so not too dry, but obviously it's not. You can kind of see as I'm pouring it in here that this is the perfect consistency. So I'm just measuring out the flour for the red velvet cakes, and once I've measured out how much flour I need, I'm just taking out some tablespoons, and then I'm replacing that with corn flour. And this is because I don't normally have cake flour in the house, so you can make it really easily yourself. In fact, I have got a video where I go through the different types of flours and the measurements for cake flour or sponge flour is in that video, and I will put a link for that video in the description. The other thing I don't do is I don't usually sieve everything. It depends really on the cake that I'm making, but I won't always sieve the flour. I do sieve things that tend to be very clumped, like icing sugar and cocoa powder. But generally with just normal flour, unless you've had it packed away and it is got lumps in it, just a good whisk aerates everything really well. And I will put the recipe for this red velvet cake in the description. It's someone else's recipe that I'm using, and I just cooked it in as a loaf cake and adjusted the cooking time. The cooking time for both of these cakes took about 40 to 45 minutes. Cook it for 40 minutes, check it to see if it needs a little bit more, and then cook it for a further 5 minutes at a time. If you think that the cakes are getting a little bit too brown, just loosely cover them with foil. I didn't need to do that with either of these. So I'm just adding in the flour and the buttermilk a little bit at a time and then mixing that in. You can do this with a spatula or a whisk. Just be careful not to overmix everything and be a little bit light with the way you're mixing it in. The more you mix it, the more dense the cake will be. I always use gel food colouring because I find that you don't have to use as much of it and it doesn't leave an aftertaste. I don't really use a lot of food colouring in cooking. It's really just when I make red velvet. And I probably should try and look at a more natural alternative. This is the Dr. Oetker, I think it's Dr. Oetker food gel colouring. And as I said, I don't use it a lot, so I'm not sure how good it is. So if you've got any more natural gel food colouring that you know of, please let me know in the comments, because it is a handy thing to have in case you need it. And I do like to have more natural ingredients if I can. Cream cheese frosting is probably my favourite frosting. It's so easy to make and is really delicious. It's not too sweet. It's perfect. The one thing I would say when making cream cheese frosting is always make sure that your butter is thoroughly whisked before you add the cream cheese. You want to make sure it is really smooth and fluffy because otherwise you will find that the moment the cream cheese hits it, it will clump and then you will be left with little grains of butter in your cream cheese frosting. So if that is really nice and fluffy, it will mix in really well with the cream cheese, and it will look a little bit almost like it's seized until you add the sugar. Once you add the sugar, it will start to come together really well. I cut the cakes in half, and then I've actually just put them into a fresh cake liner as I'm giving them away. And I decided to cut them before I put the buttercream or the cream cheese frosting on, just so that they will look a little bit more attractive. And then you can decorate these however you want. I have found these lovely, cute little sugar carrots in the shops, so I've put those on. And then I had some of the red velvet mixture, which I just put into a cupcake case to cook, and then crumbled that up. And then I was able to put that just on the red velvet side as a decoration. That's today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe and check out our other videos, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a great week. Bye.